Hi, my name is Jesse at Trash Panda, and 2 years ago, I thought to myself, I'll make a disc out of recycled plastic in my garage. How hard could it be? Well, after enough mistakes and lessons to last a lifetime, and 2 years worth of prototypes, I finally have that answer. It's very hard, but every step along the way has been so worth it. So today, I want to show you how we made our final prototype out of recycled plastic in my garage. While the machine's preheating, some of you might remember our Bubblegum Galaxy discs, which are absolutely fantastic. The only thing we haven't talked about behind this plastic is that it's almost impossible to source. And since our goal is to divert as much trash as possible from landfills, we decided to look elsewhere. So this is thermoplastic polyurethane. What is thermoplastic polyurethane? I'm glad you asked. TPU is a unique category of plastic created when a polyaddition reaction occurs between a diisocyanate and one or more diols. And not only do I have no idea what that means, but I'm not even sure I pronounced those words correctly. So let's just make this as simple as possible. TPU is a durable plastic. And fun fact, it's also commonly used in the making of discs. But what I find to be the most interesting thing about TPU is that it's hygroscopic, which means that it actually absorbs moisture from the air, meaning that it has to be dried before you can recycle it. If you don't, it actually just boils, and that's a lesson best not learned the hard way. Trust me. So we need to put this in the oven to dry for 2 hours at 200 degrees. So while all of that may sound relatively simple, as with all types of plastics, it can't be. Specifically, there are hundreds and hundreds of different types of TPU. For example, this is a Shore 45D, and this is a Shore 86A. And unfortunately, that plastic is yet a different type of TPU, but I can't tell you what it is quite yet. The short version of the story, plastic is super complex, and TPU specifically is really hard to recycle. But someone's got to do it, because the TPU market is well over a $2 billion annual industry, meaning that there is a ton of TPU out there that needs to be recycled. Just for a bit of context, TPU is typically used in things like power tools, medical devices, and sporting goods. And just like any good baking show, that was about 2 hours of drying time, right? Set timer for 15 minutes. Okay, so if you don't already know, this is the injection machine I built in my garage. It's super DIY, it's operated entirely by my body weight, and to be honest, I call it my Flintstones machine. But while the plastic's melting, I just wanted to talk about it quickly. First, one of our goals from day one was to make it possible for you to make discs by hand on a machine similar to this. But since our main goal right now is to make discs available to you, we're kind of putting that one on hold. But that brings up the main problem with this machine, and that's scale. It is so hard to make a disc on this machine, and it really averages about one every 30 minutes. So over the last few months, we've been working super hard to make sure that when we produce discs, they'll be at scale. So while we're still in the garage making discs on this machine for the prototyping process, when we ultimately bring them to production and make them available to you, they'll be made on a much larger scale. And I want to talk about that, but first, I think the plastic's ready, so let's make our final prototype. looks great, it flies great, and we saved the best news for last. Because of how confident we feel with that plastic, this mold, and everything we've learned up to this point, this mold won't do anymore. Instead, it's time for the big leagues, which means that our mold to make putters at scale is officially in production. And we're literally on schedule for a global launch later this year. Sometimes I let it go so fast and am doing so much that I don't just pause and let it sink in. So stay tuned, because we're gonna bring you along for the entire process as we get our mold approved, solve any unforeseen problems, and of course, make our discs finally available to you. It's so crazy to be where we are, and I mean it when I say it, we literally couldn't be here without you. As always, thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe to support the channel, and we'll see you next time.